NZ Aerosports, Icarus Canopies, now Gyro. That's right, we've rebranded, and Gyro is our next generation. It honours our founder, as that's the name we knew him by, but Gyro also marks the start of a new chapter. And not to be biased, but it's going to be fucking epic. Long story short, we're more us than ever, so if you're new to the sport, or even a Sky God Ninja Turtle, welcome. I think our valiant leader Lucy, Gyro's daughter, says it best.
And we still got that fuck yeah attitude. Rebrand! Woo!
Rebrand woo indeed, Lucy. Anyway, head over to gyro.com for more info and get amongst your legends.
I was 19, broke, unemployed, and sold my girlfriend's canopy for drug money. So I thought I better sew her a new one. What a sentence, and what a story. This describes the humble yet outrageous beginnings of NZ Aerosports, the home of Icarus Canopies, in the words of our founder himself. From getting a paratrooper toy from his mom, watching parachutes at the DZ as a 6-year-old, jumping off the wharf with a parachute made from bed sheets, doing his first jump at 16, sewing his first canopy on a borrowed machine at 19, and starting to sell parachutes out of a garage in 1986, Paul Gyro Martin had an undying love for the sky. Our company started with one man with the wildest of spirits and a true blue sky dream, a renegade. In the time that Gyro created and ran the Icarus Canopies brand until he passed away in 2017, he pushed everything he had to its limits. We miss him, and we always will. Gyro is the next generation of NZ Aerosports. It honors our founder, of course, because it was the name we all knew him by, but Gyro the rebrand also marks the start of a new chapter, our next jump. Gyro is the space between sound and silence, art and science, chaos and calm. Gyro is a state of epic tranquility that transcends understanding. That moment, in the door, in free fall, mid-swoop, where nothing but the present exists. A perfect balance of euphoria and thrill. Gyro captures our passion for flying and our commitment to designing break-the-fucking-rules canopies that deliver pilots pure, wild flight.
Coming straight from the cockpit, it's another episode of Lunatic Fringe with the fucking pilot.
Ready, set, go! All right, once again, this is the fucking pilot back in the booth with another edition of Lunatic Fringe Into the Void. And again, the magic of the internet, thank goodness. I've got somebody else on the line to talk about some cool shit. So tell me, who are you and what the fuck do you do?
My name is DJ fucking Marvin. How you doing, Dean?
DJ fucking Marvin. How's it going?
It's going good, man. I thought that was the right introduction for this show.
Yeah.
What do I do? Man, that's a loaded question. I am, man, I own a company called the Rating Center. We are a full-time rating school. We do coach courses, canopy courses, AFF, tandem courses. We do a little bit of everything. I work for Skydive Spaceland as a consultant. I help with their school. I've written a large part of their curriculum over the years, editing or revising, and continue to work with their schools and setting up their new programs. I run and host a podcast called Gravity Lab Radio. We just did our 101st episode, so we're doing pretty good. And
Nice.
I am also the host of LB Live. We do interviews of LB athletes for Larson and Bruce-Guard, as well as I do product testing and manual development with them. So a little bit of everything.
You're a busy fucking guy.
Man, it's the only way I know how to have fun. Stay busy.
That's more than one iron in the fire for sure. Well, all right. So let's start with the basics. Let's start with how you got into skydiving in the first place, because that seems to be the anchor to the whole story.
Yeah, man. I always wanted to skydive. I've been jumping for 22 years now. Started in '97. Like most people of my era and age, Point Break really made me want to do it. I had an uncle who was Army skydiver. I eventually find out he had 1,000 jumps, so he wasn't just airborne. From there, Drop Zone and Terminal Velocity also came out and really almost pushed me over the edge. And I was teaching a traffic school. I have a background in magic, did magic for a while. The traffic school believed that anybody can teach traffic law, but if we make it entertaining, people will pay to show up. So they charged a premium. They paid us pretty well.
Wow.
It was my part-time gig. I did it at night. And I introduced a class. What's your name? My name is Steve Barker. He's a full-time guy out at Skydive Paris now. And Steve, what do you do for a living? What do you do for fun? I skydive for a living. I skydive for fun. And that 8-hour traffic school was DJ asking, how do I learn to skydive? So that's Steve Barker, man. I actually thank him on our show regularly on Gravity Lab. Man, a lot of what I do today, how I met my wife, Steve Barker changed my life, brother.
So Steve Barker basically greased through the easiest traffic school ever.
Dude, everybody in that class loved him because nobody heard a thing about traffic law. I was like, I could fucking care less, dude. How do I skydive?
That's
you
the way it
videoed
should
the
be.
X Games? How do I do that? I mean, all the things he told me about were so cool, dude.
That's fucking epic. Well, you and I actually started out at exactly the same time. I just started jumping a year before you, so we're very much of the same generation. And it was movies like Point Break and Drop Zone and stuff that you became a skydiver and then, of course, watched again because it was the inspiration. And then you realize, oh, there's a little bit of Hollywood in these movies. But they were still so influential. And Point Break to this day is still my favorite movie that's linked to the sport, without a doubt.
Man, Fandango
too, but Fandango is such a comic version of it. And it
is.
It was entertaining and a great laugh, but I think Point Break was the one that was like, oh my God, that looks badass. Whereas Fandango just made it look ridiculous, which was wonderful.
I love that scene. It's awesome, dude. That and actually my probably favorite movie period is Cutaway as far as skydiving movies go.
Really?
Oh, dude, it's a horrible movie. I'm not going to sit here and brag about its quality of acting or its quality of – dude, the skydiving in that movie is phenomenal, and Norman Crew did a phenomenal job in video production. And I think that's why it's my favorite is it has so much good quality skydiving video.
Sure. Well, so you get hooked on all the same things that hooked me in, but where did you start skydiving and how did it progress from there?
I started in a place called Air Adventures in San Diego. It's located or was located at Brownfield, just off the border.
Yep.
I actually measured on Google Earth one day how far my target was from the Tijuana border, from the fence, and it's about 2,000 feet.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So, my first jump course, we learned if you land in Mexico, what to do. I did my first 100.
Wait. What did they tell you to do if you land in Mexico?
Zip open your jumpsuit. In your jumpsuit, there's an inside pocket, which we all now know exists. But as a new jumper, you're like, there's a pocket inside my jumpsuit?
Right.
There's a note inside that pocket that tells you what to do with a phone. There's change in there to make a phone call, et cetera, et cetera. So they told us how to contact the DZ, how the drop zone was located at the airport. We landed elsewhere.
Right. And
the drop zone building was immediately next door to Border Patrol. So our relationship with them was real strong, and they would immediately contact Border Patrol, and they had a gig. They worked together. My first 100 jumps were there, and 2 fellows landed off in Mexico. They said it happens about once a year.
Wow.
So during those 100 jumps, a gal named Carmen, who till through today I pay a large amount of respect for, one of my primary AFF instructors who today I still role model. I still use when I train AFF instructors some of her methodology. Told me time and time again, like, DJ, you will only learn so much here. You need to go to Paris. I'm like, why do I go to France to skydive, girl? I'm a Southern California kid, but I didn't know Paris, California existed.
Right.
Eventually, I moved up to a little town called Murrieta, just south of Paris and Elsinore, and I tried Paris for a month. I enjoyed it. I pulled into Elsinore, and I was going to try them for a month and decide where to make home. And God, I think I hadn't been in Elsinore for 30 minutes before I'd been invited on literally 10 different skydives. I mean, there's no it's a memorable number to me. I can tell you, I'm unloading the trunk of my buddy's car who's taking a piss. Hey, I don't know you. You should come skydive with us. I'm signing a manifest. Who are you? You should come skydive with us. Hey, we have this event. You should. Everybody asked me to make a skydive with them. And man, the vibe was just what I was looking for. And Elsinore was home through 2001. And I was on a really crappy free fly team. Somebody had to come in last.
Right.
Actually, free fly wasn't even in nationals yet. We trained together as a team to become better, not to become serious. We just wanted to become better flyers. And then in 01.
It's funny as you're telling this story, we were hitting the same area at the same time because I competed in the 98 Nationals in sky surfing in Elsinore. So you would have been there.
Dude, so Stefan Klaus and Brian Rogers. I moved to Elsinore in June of 98. I want to say June or July of 98 if I remember right, and Psycho Circus followed just after us. Like me and my buddy showed up. Psycho Circus showed up maybe 2 months after we did, if that sounds familiar.
A little bit, although memories from those eras a little bit vague.
They're fuzzy as fuck, right?
A little bit. I remember the highlights.
Yeah. Psycho Circus were an Elsinore or Paris scrub team who were really building up. They jumped purple and yellow jumpsuits.
God, that sounds really familiar.
Yeah. Eventually, a team called Freak Show jumped purple and orange, which was us, and we trained with them. We followed. We took over Yahoo Sky Surf's team room.
Okay. All right. Now that sounds really familiar because at the time, myself and my partner were driving down from Vegas to train in Paris. We did the Paris Valley Challenge and then ended up in the Nationals in Elsinore. So it was all that time frame. Paris was our big drop zone to go to from Vegas. So we drive
Who's
down
your partner?
there. Mary Tortomasi.
Okay. Yeah. I remember.
She and I competed against Craig and Tanya in the 98 Nationals.
Man, it's a throwback era. No, I did a lot of jumps with, if you know Kathy Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
I did outside video for her and her team for a couple of things. They had ESPN of Japan out and asked me to shoot outside video for them. Larry Heltzer, I think is his last name, who could never find a teammate but trained nonstop. I shot a lot of video for him sky surfing. I enjoyed the heck out of the sky surf scene back then.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, although Mary and I definitely got into it at the very end of it. I think it was about the same time that McCormick was coming up with the Invisible Man routine, and Craig and Tanya they were an unstoppable force, and so that was the death of sky surfing for us, for sure, and the start of the so-called professional skydiving career for me.
Yeah, and really, that's about the era. Skydiving started turning more professional, and business started to become a word instead of just a sport.
Yeah, well, because back then it was only the rare drop zones like Paris and Eloy and Elsinore and Cross Keys on the East Coast and the ranch and stuff that were true businesses and making a profit, because the mom and pop places didn't either they were doing really well but they were bare bones and small staff, or they were just barely getting by.
Yeah.
It's definitely changed a lot. Well, so you ended up in Elsinore and you started competing relatively quickly, but when did you start really working in the sport?
So in 01, for personal reasons, I moved to Indiana. I was kind of throwing my life down the toilet. I wasn't being responsible. I was partying way too much and doing a lot of stupid things. So I decided a life reset was important. And I don't think I needed to move to do that reset, but I thought it was helpful.
Sure.
I had family in Indiana. They're not from there, but they were just there. So I moved there to have a place to ground myself. For about 6 months, got a job at a Ford dealership, said, hey, I need a job. I just moved here. Let me just get some income generating. Took a couple week vacation from that job, just normal vacation. And during those couple weeks, I shot video full time for the DZ.
Nice.
And as a brand new skydiver, I want to do this for a living. I know how to teach. I have a background with teaching and coaching things throughout my life. I like skydiving. And after a year, I'm like, I will never do what I love for a living. This is stupid. And that was my you know what? Fuck it. Let's try. Let's see what happens. And after about a week and a half, I called my boss up and he said, you're not coming back, are you? I said, no. He goes, I knew what you were doing. I knew what your goals were to take this time off. And I'm not shocked. He was very respectful. And from there, it's all been downhill. It's all been a ride.
That's pretty damn cool. It seems to me the more people that I talk to, there's really only a couple of paths that lead towards, or at least in my experience, that lead towards a full-time member of the skydiving lifestyle. And that either seems to be they were deep into the real world and the normal job and decided to say fuck it because they went out and did that one jump and they were dissatisfied with, what the so-called American dream had to offer, or they'd fucked everything up and managed to stumble their way into skydiving, which was kind of my path as well. I kind of just had I kind of Forrest Gumped my way into a skydiving career, so to speak. It doesn't seem like anybody just sits down and goes, okay, nope, these are the different paths that I can take, and I've chosen to do this for a living. It doesn't seem to be that way.
Man, they are few and far between. As an examiner and a guy who does a lot of ratings, I deal with a lot of people who are breaking into the business, and God, they're rare who plan it. Like you said, we either get frustrated in life because it's not our style or because we fucked it up.
Right.
Absolutely the truth.
Right, which obviously seems to turn out to be a huge benefit because most of the so-called fuck-ups in the real world have excelled in skydiving and just kind of, to be really tacky, they found their wings.
100%, man. Like, it's your podcast, your moniker, the fucking pilot, is a brand that we couldn't represent in the real world. Gravity Lab, the way we speak, the things we do, HR is not a thing in skydiving, and in some cases probably should be.
Right.
But for the most part, PC is out the window, and I think that's why we thrive. Is I go to the drop zone in shorts and a t-shirt, and I'm at work. On a fancy day, I wear a button collared shirt because I'm teaching class all day, and everybody goes, "Ooh, you're dressed nice today."
Right,
and it's like,
right.
yeah, it feels pretty good to wear a collar.
Oh, yeah. Well, on days that I show up at the drop zone with anything but flip-flops on, they just assume that I'm jumping because why in the hell else would I wear shoes?
Right.
Which is wonderful.
It's such a blessed lifestyle, man. We live the lifestyle of a bum, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And get to go out and have fun with our friends for the most part, which is amazing. And you're right. The whole PC thing, I never was particularly politically correct anyway, but in skydiving, you have less of a need to be. Although I have gotten myself in trouble once or twice with that as well. But yeah, the whole the PC thing and not being so, whether it's male or female, old or young, was one of the huge attractions to the lifestyle of the sport and the community of the sport, because just nobody seemed to give a fuck. This is me, take it or leave it, which is really nice. Mm-hmm. It's a huge attractant to the sport, and I'm sure the community side of things had to have been the same for you as well.
Man, 100%. I did a seminar at the USPA board meeting recently at the DZO conference. But I'm sorry, not the board meeting, at the DZO conference. And it was about jumper retention. And the statement was, we come for the skydives, we stay for the skydivers.
Yep.
And I say it all the time on the podcast. I say it regularly. And as much as I love to skydive, and man, skydiving is tremendous. It's a beautiful thing. The skydivers mean 10 times more to me than the skydives do at this point in my life.
Oh, without a doubt.
My best friends are skydivers. My wife's a skydiver. Everybody I know said and done. Well, most people I know said and done are skydivers. So
sure.
The skydivers or the community are where it's at.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and the jumps themselves for somebody like me, I was just a tandem workhorse and a video workhorse, and I had my moment in the sun attempting to do the competition stuff. But I'm never going to be an outstanding free flyer. I'm never going to be an outstanding swooper. I'm good, but I'm not great at anything in the sport. So I'm certainly not in it for the fame and fortune of it all. So it's very much been the community over anything else, because I categorize myself as an average jumper, average instructor, and I'm fine with that. Not to mention, and I'm sure you're the same, as the sport progresses through the roof with skill levels, whether it be the tunnel or just modern training, I find out just how truly I really do suck, but that I've also still got so much more to learn that it makes it fun and engaging again. I like sucking because it means I've got somewhere to go and to learn.
Yeah. Easy to learn, impossible to master.
Right? Oh, God, would you ever want to master it? I wouldn't want to master that shit. No
I'd
way.
walk away if I did.
Yeah.
If I master skydiving, I'm done. And I never can. Like you said, every time I turn around, they're better than I could ever think they could have been.
Oh yeah.
And there's a new evolution and discipline that, like, really, you're flying a wingsuit and a parachute together? What the? You're kidding me.
I know it. It's gotten so crazy. I had a conversation with Mike Wittenberg not too long ago about his kids winning the worlds in the tunnel and doing things at 9 and 10 and 11 years old that I can't do after 25 years of skydiving. So it's wonderful. It's also quite humbling as well when you realize, oh yeah, no, I don't really have any talent.
Right. I love the evolution of our sport. It's just been amazing. And what's great is you talk about the culture, the evolution of the flight, the evolution of human flight, period, has also evolved that culture, how people have grown together, how people have meshed together. It just seems like the culture continues to grow as the skill set does too.
Absolutely. Well, what do you think right now is the biggest driving force behind this the major increase in skill level and ability? Is it the training that started about the time you and I started in this sport? Is it the tunnels? Is it a combination of?
Man, I think the largest catalyst really is social media.
Yeah.
Because without, I worked in a drop zone in Indiana. How do we know what's going on in this small or mid-sized Midwest drop zone without seeing on social media people turning blind mans, people doing this under canopy, people doing this free flying? And that motivates us to now go to the tunnel, to now go get modern coaching. So absolutely, coaching in the sky, coaching in the tunnel, coaching under canopy. These have been major evolutions. I recently worked with a dude doing 270s on the pond with less than 500 jumps, which 10 years ago, there's no way I think somebody with that many jumps should do it. But this guy's been coaching with Kurt Bartholomew, with Greg Windmiller, and myself, and he was ready. So the coaching for sure, but that social media catalyst of people are watching YouTube. People are right now listening to this podcast on their phone while they're at work, and they're getting inspired by either things we say or things they see on the interwebs. Sure. That is the biggest catalyst.
Now, do you think, though, for as positive as the social media thing is, do you think the negative offsets it a fair amount? I mean,
I don't think it offsets it as far as it overpowers it. No, I do think it actually weakens it for sure. Because people do stupid shit because, I saw this on YouTube. You're not a YouTube scholar, homie. Just because you saw it on YouTube. I watched a lot of Pornhub, but I'm not very good at sex.
Right, yeah.
Just because you watch it doesn't mean you're good at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I guess I have a real love-hate relationship with social media for sure. I just talked to Tracy Baum, and she was talking about when her husband passed that she, it was on Facebook 30 seconds after it happened. And you and I and everybody that's a modern skydiver has seen it over and over again. So between stuff like that or the close calls that you see on YouTube that look badass, but if you ask the jumper, they're like, no, that was not good. Or even the ones that went exactly as planned, but they give some guy that decided to buy a wingsuit used off of DZ.com that he can go flick some object and barrel down the mountain like one of these badasses. That's where I get kind of scared about the social media thing, because I really do think it drives some pretty bad ideas.
I mean, there was 16 base fatalities in August of, I think it was 2016, because people are trying to emulate the proxy flight that they're seeing. And some of them are that good, but some of them just shouldn't be trying it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I've had the privilege to meet some of the best in the world at that, and they'll all say the same thing. Sometimes it just comes down to luck, and if you don't have the skill to back up that luck, you're fucked.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff is kind of scary. Now,
it for sure is.
Now, what
I want to take a quick sidetrack just because this one just gets me, man.
Yeah,
and you talked about Tracy, and it crushes me, man. I found out my grandfather died through social media.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
That broke my fucking heart, man.
Of course it did.
If you're out there and you know somebody who died skydiving, please hold back your thoughts. Please hold back your sentiments. Give it a week, legitimately a week, for all the family to find out, because it's not just about mom, dad, brother, sister, husband, wife. It's about aunts, uncles, and cousins.
Oh, yeah.
These people need to find out their loved one died, not through, I fucking found out my grandfather, who I loved to death and tremendously, died through Facebook.
Yeah, no.
So if you're out there posting blue skies, black death, the day of, the next day, or within the week, man, you're a douche nozzle.
Right.
I'm sorry. I love my friends. I've seen good friends do it. But, man, let it be. And then a week later, share your sentiments.
Sure.
So if you're out there sharing these things, please back off. Because how, Tracy dealing with that, man, God bless her.
Oh, yeah.
God bless her.
And I even said to her on the podcast that I had been guilty of the same thing earlier on in the whole social media, which has not really been all that long, for Christ's sakes, of doing the exact same thing. And then, of course, you have instances like Tom, I found out on Facebook, and a number of other friends on Facebook. And it's just a shitty, horrible fucking way for that to come down. It's just terrible. So now I will never post the black picture or anything like that. I will wait, and once it's all come out and it's released, then if it's someone I'm close to, I'll put something out there. I don't know if you knew Rob Stanley was a jumper out of Cross Keys and all around the U.S. and the world, was just recently killed in an accident in China. And again, I found it on Facebook. Now, of course, it's all over the place out there. And so he was a wonderful guy and a good friend. And so then you say what you want to say, and you make posts and add to other people's posts. But that's once everybody's been notified. Everybody's heard.
For sure, man. It's for sure pay your respect. For sure honor your homies. We need to show that love. And, the Ryan Risberg stickers that are all over the place, they're wonderful. Sam Smith, who got hurt, all the support Sam stuff going out there. These kind of things for sure need to happen. So, I'm with you, and I think you're with me. We don't need to blast it right away, but we do not need to forget it. If I die skydiving, for sure call it out publicly. For sure question what I did. And please, I hope that y'all would honor me if I die, or when I die. Hopefully I don't die anytime soon.
If there aren't fucking hundreds of posts talking shit about me if I go in... If there's not just a constant stream of insults on my page, I'm going to be hurt.
Right.
But yeah, once everybody knows, then bring out the big guns and talk shit about me.
Yeah, man, it makes a huge difference. So sorry to go on that little sidetrack, but that one,
I think it's a good one to go on. But I mean, I think you're right that after all the blue sky stuff is done, talking about what happened, having a dialogue, social media is great for that. One of the friends of Stanley actually posted the incident report on Facebook, and it gained a lot of traction simply because people wanted to know. This is a guy with 25,000 skydives. He was supposed to live forever, and to find out that he died on a skydive, it didn't quite click. And so everybody needed to know why, what happened.
Yeah.
And it's important for people to kind of learn those lessons, just like the unfortunate rash of aircraft incidents that the sport has been having lately. Granted, again, we need to wait for a proper time, but a conversation needs to be had about what the fuck is going on. Time for training and learning and all that stuff. And social media is amazing for something like that, I think.
It absolutely is. And that idea of education has been huge. And yes, there's that big downside that people go do stupid things, but use social media, use the internet, use these dope videos you see of these sick flyers to inspire you to get that coaching. Sure. Go to the drop zones and get camps. I do a lot of coaching of various types, canopy coaching especially, and I encourage anybody I coach, go find a different coach. Go learn somewhere else where nobody has a connection with you, where there's no bias to, for, or against you. Also, get coached where people have a bias to, for, or against you.
Sure.
Use the internet to inspire you, not to prompt you to do stupid things.
Yeah, well, and it should be an avenue for you to research every angle of stuff like that, especially when it comes to training. And I do very similarly as you with jumpers. I do when I'm teaching a new pilot how to fly, either at a particular drop zone or at a new aircraft, and I'll teach him everything I have to know, and then I'll put him with another pilot and say, all right, now go learn everything that they have to know and cherry pick what works for you within these parameters. Find out your best avenue to do things goes this way, and because there's never one perfect way to do everything. Everyone thinks about things a little bit differently. So seeing it from a different set of eyes may click much, much better than, say, the way I do it or the way you do it. So it's a very good thing to give people as much variety in training as they can get.
Sometimes I just say it in a way that you get, or vice versa. You say it in a way that he gets. Well, I'll give you different nuggets. There's so many ways to learn, and so many ways to teach, and so many ways to lead. Why limit the resources you have in front of you?
Sure. Well, and I'm sure you've seen it in the past too. There are instructors or coaches out there that will get really upset if, or used to anyway, get upset if you would go to someone else and ask for advice, like it was an insult against the way that they trained. And that's not the case. It's just making sure you get all the information you can possibly get.
Man, 100%. And if you're a coach or an instructor and you're against that, man, I've had people I coach under Canopy go learn from somebody else, and then they come back to me like, hey, let's put a session together. What have you been working on since last time? Well, I started working on this. Well, wait a minute. What's the idea behind what you're working on?
Right.
Well, Greg Windmiller told me this is what I'm working on. And I'm like, well, man, that kind of took a different path, but I like the new path you're on.
Sure.
So it's helps me become a better coach by learning from what they've learned. It helps me diversify where I might be trapped in a path of teaching where another coach reminds me that there's another path or another direction that might be better for this guy or gal.
Yeah.
So I've learned a lot through my students getting instruction from other people. Without me ever going to them. Now, of course, I try to go get coaching myself still, too.
Well, that's the thing, too, is the best coaches are still students.
Man, there's so much to learn.
Oh, God,
so much.
Yeah, and I don't ever want to know anything. I like the fact that we're in a sport where I can still be completely in awe of something that someone else does and still call myself an athlete in the same sport that they're in. That's an amazing thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it absolutely.
It really is. I mean, like right now, the swoop challenge is going on in Jeddah. You're watching it on Facebook as it's happening live, and half of those competitors I consider friends of mine, and they're doing shit I could never do. And I'm amazed and in awe all the time when I get to watch these guys that I'm buddies with doing this incredible shit, and I still get to call myself a skydiver as well, which is awesome.
It's amazing to be connected to these people. It's amazing to be friends with these people. And it's fun to be their instructor. I've trained people who've become world champs. I've trained people who've gotten medals. Sure. And, like you said, to be friends with these athletes, it's amazing. And the fact that the Olympic Channel is broadcasting this swoop comp
How huge is that?
Phenomenal.
Isn't that huge?
That's ridiculous, dude.
It's what that tells me is that they are on the express path to getting this thing in the Olympics.
Yes. And we've questioned what could get us back into the Olympics, what could push us that direction, and the wind tunnel and canopy piloting are the two things that could push us there.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, honestly, they're the only two viable spectator sports for skydiving where you don't necessarily need to know much about it. It's especially with the tunnel, it's very much akin to something like ice skating. I don't understand what they're doing, but I know what looks beautiful. I know what looks really cool. So, and I don't need to understand how you do these spins on these blades to think it's amazing, just like I don't need to understand what's going on in the tunnel or necessarily in the canopy. Canopy is a little bit different, I think. When I was back in Cross Keys in the days, we used to have a Tuesday morning swoop club. Everybody would wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and half of the crew would be swooping the pond, and the other half would be getting drunk on the side of the pond watching everybody swooping. And you didn't wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning just to go drink by the pond. You watched to go watch your buddies chow into the pond and laugh and laugh your ass off as they're trying to drag a fucking velocity full of water out of the pond. Right? So I think that the swoop stuff will be even a little bit more dynamic. It's a little bit more like NASCAR. You don't go to watch the cars go around in a circle. You go to watch them hit the wall.
Yeah, man, it is. And like if you actually go to the Olympic Channel right now, they have two videos that that are promoting what's going on, and one's called What is Swoop and the other is called Swoop Science, and they actually show some nice crashes. They show some cool stuff, but they show some fun stuff.
Yeah, when I pulled it up, their little minute and a half intro that they've got going on, they've got a couple of good wipeouts in it. I think that was from the Copenhagen meet, I believe.
Yes,
and it was obviously they're a blast to watch, and the way that they've set those competitions up now, especially being on such a big body of water with the large raft and stuff, it's just a really fun competition to watch.
It's a blast, man. It's amazing. And the one thing that scares me though is people have over the years, longer than you and I've been skydiving, but definitely in our beginning, people were pushing and hoping for mainstream skydiving. And to see these events push the Olympics, it does scare me a little bit because the mainstream drives cars, and that scares me.
Right.
The guy who drove next to me on the freeway yesterday, I don't want to be under canopy with.
Right.
So, you know, that it's kind of like you said, we talked about the internet having that bittersweet, that mainstream push for skydiving. I'm still torn about wanting to see it in the Olympics because, you know, I do want the sport to grow. I do want more cool friends, you know, and of course, as the business grows for my buddies who are instructors, to give them more opportunities to make more money is great. But man, I don't want every Tom, Dick, and Harry skydive.
Oh, no doubt. Well, and I'll tell you, I think though that even if it goes mainstream, in other words, it gets into the Olympics, whether it be both the tunnel or canopy piloting, I think skydiving will always remain just on the outskirts of mainstream for a couple of reasons. I think first, it's cost prohibitive. What's the old joke? How do you make a small fortune in skydiving? You start with a big one.
Yep.
Or what is it? It's $200 for your first jump and half your income for the rest of your life. I think most of us would agree that that's probably shooting low.
Yes.
I spent a fuckload more than that. So I think cost keeps it out of range of a lot of the average Americans. And if you ask Olav Zipser, he's going to tell you the tunnel's doing that. Because who's going to go out and spend these thousands and thousands and eventually hundreds of thousands of dollars on a skydiving career when you can go, you know, put your 2 cents in and hop in the tunnel with a group of 5 or 6 people. So he's of the opinion that the tunnel will eventually be the burning death of skydiving. I'm not quite that doomsday, but I think it's going to put a dent in it for sure.
I'm definitely scared of what the tunnel can do. And I don't know if you know of the company Urban Air. Urban Air is known as a trampoline park.
I don't know that I've heard of it.
Yeah, so it's a chain throughout the U.S. They're a trampoline park. They have things like trampoline dodgeball. They have obstacle courses, like Ninja Warrior style courses, all sorts of fun things. But they're starting a wind tunnel part of their business. They opened their first one up in Fort Worth. They're spreading Georgia's next, Albuquerque, Houston's in the works, Arcadia's in the Houston area. And number one, at normal prices, they're looking at like $500 an hour or less. But I know one of the places, and I forget, I might be quoting this wrong, but I think right now in Fort Worth, $10 unlimited minutes for the day.
What?
Exactly, dude. What? So the price point now, Urban Air is a smaller tunnel. It's an 8-foot tunnel. You can't get super crazy in it. It flies about 80% of what I fly capacity has. Sure. Obviously, I have an inside hookup with Urban Air. We actually had John Walker on Gravity Lab Radio talking about Urban Air's tunnel project, and he's in charge of it. So you're not going to fly as well in it because of that limited air, but at the same time, man, that to the general public has made skydiving so much more accessible.
Sure, absolutely.
So I do think the tunnel is going to be I'm with you. I don't think it's going to be the doomsday death of it. I think it's going to be a great gateway drug. How many people have we seen come to skydiving because of the tunnel?
Oh, sure. Well, and I'm actually one of those because before I ever made my first jump, I was actively flying in Flyaway in Las Vegas, which was one of the 2 first tunnels ever for civilians in the country. I became an instructor there and had probably, I want to say, 50 hours in the tunnel before I ever made my first tandem. So I am one of the original tunnel rats, man. I was in the tunnel before I'd ever seen the bottom side of nylon. And I ended up working in that tunnel until I had a few hundred hours in the tunnel. But that was the older tunnel, slow air speeds, maximum of 120. You had to wear the massive baggy jumpsuits. There were pockets of dead air all over the place. And you basically became a really good cloth pilot, not a body pilot. So, when it came time to start shooting video, I was great in flying a set of wings because I'd been doing that in the tunnel forever. And of course, it did nothing for me in modern tunnels because I'm horrible in a modern tunnel. It didn't stick with me, but I was definitely one of the kids that came from the tunnel and went to the sky. So I do agree with you that it absolutely will. I think Zipser's point was he thinks that it on its own becomes the end all be all. If I can do all these amazing things in the air here in this tunnel, and I don't have to drive to the drop zone, and I don't have to wait for loads, and I don't have to spend all this money, and I don't have to almost die, why don't I just do this? And I guess I kind of agree with that, but I also think that someone that has that mentality was never going to be a skydiver in the first place.
I do. I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's that mentality is meant for the tunnel, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But why do I skydive versus the tunnel? And when Houston opened its first tunnel, there's two of them. I had an easy opportunity to join the team, whether it was in management or I'm pretty positive I could have tried out as an instructor. My immediate answer was number one, exiting an airplane. There's nothing like it.
No.
Number two, I love the great outdoors, being outside, being in the sky. And I think plenty of those tunnel flyers will feel confined, like, man, this is super cool. But what would it be like to be outside and do this? And I think once they get under canopy, like, I love free fall. I will never say free fall is not phenomenal. I smile in free fall more than I smile anywhere else.
Sure.
Except for under canopy.
Sure.
That is, for me, flying a wing is bigger than anything.
Sure.
And I think a lot of those, we've seen several tunnel rats. We have 2 tunnels here in Houston, and we've seen quite a few come to the sport. And some of them, like, just, the parachute's now my favorite part. As much as I love free fall and they don't neglect it, they focus more on canopy skills than anything.
Sure.
Now, most tunnel rats do focus on free fall.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, it was kind of funny for me because I was, by the time I graduated AFF and started off on my own, skydiving path, I was solid in the air. I graduated AFF in, I think, 6 or 7 jumps because I'd done everything in the tunnel. So the skills were natural there, but under canopy, different story. Scared the shit out of me. Oh my God. Gear fear like you wouldn't believe, and just nervous as hell under the parachute. And it took a long time to get over that, because I think the extra confidence I had in free fall took away from the confidence I felt I should have under the parachute. So I think it changes the learning curve for sure when you go from the tunnel to the sky, but if you can do it in combination, I think it's fucking amazing.
It's been tremendous to work with students in both environments, for sure. And, I really hate hearing tunnel flyers naysay skydiving, and I hate hearing skydivers poo on tunnel flying, man. We are brother and sister. We are spirits. We are kindred spirits, rather. We are family. Why not embrace both? Why not allow our family to commingle?
Well, absolutely. Well, and there's benefits to both for the other without a doubt. So I have, again, maybe because I'm one of the original tunnel rats, I have zero animosity when it comes to the tunnel. I fucking love it. And I'm constantly humbled at the skill level that the tunnel flyers these days have. It's amazing. I would like to see them in the air more, though, in the sky.
Yeah, man, we're blessed here in Houston because our main tunnel, our bigger tunnel is Memorial. I say bigger, it just sees more business. And the majority of their staff are actually skydivers.
Which is awesome.
So it's phenomenal. It's great. So number one, when tunnel rats come to learn to skydive, there's a lot of humility where sometimes you see a tunnel rat jump on the wrong canopy because I know how to fall. I can be on whatever parachute I want to be on.
Right.
But also the relationship of our skydivers to our indoor skydivers in our Houston community it's blessed.
Sure.
We are very blessed. It's tremendous. And there is not a lot of animosity within our group. usually the animosity is by somebody who sucks at one or the other.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I'm actually...
So they just hate that they're no good.
Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, and I hate that I'm no good, but I hate it in a humorous way. I love it.
Yeah.
So I'm actually longtime friends with a guy you probably know, Rory Corrigan. Yeah. So he and I go way back to the Cross Keys days. And, of course, I met him when he was just coming up in skydiving. And then, of course, he went on to become a badass in the tunnel and a rigger and all this stuff. And he has nothing but good things to say about the community out there. So one of these days I'm going to have to get out there and fly.
Man, you got to. And I'll tell you, the day you're out here, if you're hanging out in Houston, come be on my show.
Hell yeah.
We'll turn it around. We'll flip the script. It won't be any different than this.
Yeah,
we'll just be in person together.
Well,
exactly, man.
I've actually only been through Texas a couple of times under not the best of circumstances. I ended up landing in Spaceland and spending the night sleeping in the Chicagoland Otter after I got run out of a town south of the border under not so great circumstances. So I've actually been there. I just didn't do anything fun because I was too shell-shocked.
Yeah, I bet, dude. I'm just going to sit here and hug my knees and cry.
That's pretty much exactly what I did on a blow-up mattress in the back of the Chicagoland Otter on the grass in Spaceland. So tell me, Gravity Lab, how did that all come about? How did that get started? Because you're 101 episodes in, so you're down the road a ways.
Yeah, man. Dude, it's been a wild journey. I listen to podcasts. I'm a large podcast consumer myself. I listen to a lot of MMA podcasts. I listen to Joe Rogan and lifestyle podcasts, to leadership, just various forms. And once upon a time, Skydive Radio was it for us. Skydive Radio was and still is one of the greatest skydiving podcasts out there. You know, they're the founding fathers.
Sure.
Even before my time, although we've surpassed them in number of episodes, a podcast called Jump 26, catering to new jumpers, was out there.
Nice.
And it's funny because somebody recently asked me, what do you think of all the impersonators out there? I'm like, what do you mean? Well, so many people started a podcast since you did. I'm like, yeah, I copied people too, bro. One of the things I liked about Rogan one of the things that I was inspired about Rogan is he tells all his friends you should start a podcast. And he's like, man, just put a phone down, hit record. Sure. And one day, a buddy of mine who turns into my co-host now, Nick Lott, was my first guest. And literally, we put my phone on a tripod and we hit record and broadcast it to Facebook Live without we don't know what the fuck we're doing. Let's do this.
Sure.
And the goal really was back to social media is a great inspiration. You know, number one, we have a lot of great resources here in Spaceland, Houston. We have a lot of great resource of human being knowledge and information.
Sure.
And it's a shame that we keep it to ourselves. Why can't we share it to a broader audience? Why can't we share it to people all over? I got an email the other day from a dude from Estonia who says, I listened to all the episodes. These are the things I've learned from it. We get people who are, again, from all over the world listening. So we get to share that knowledge, number one. But number two, on a drop zone, and in this case on Spaceland, as a skydiver, you see us, but you don't know us. And a lot of jumpers think they know us, but you don't.
Right.
You really don't, because we're at work all day.
Sure.
So I saw it as an opportunity to share knowledge, share information, but share personalities. Get to know your heroes is one of the things we say. So we started on a whim. We said, fuck it, let's try it. After that first episode, we liked it, immediately borrowed audio equipment from a good friend of mine, Justin Marvin, and tried 6 more episodes. And in those 6 episodes, explored microphones, explored technology, and eventually got to a setup where I'll never say we stabilized, because after 101 episodes, yesterday I got a new webcam for production.
Sure.
So our production, our equipment is always stepping up to the next level. So that was kind of the inspiration to start. Nick started as our producer. I told him, hey man, in our first show, we sat down and had a pre-show meeting. We sat down to sushi and hey, let's talk about what we're going to do. And he said, if this takes off, I want to be your young Jamie, which is Joe Rogan's producer, who has very little interaction. I'm like, deal. After that first episode, he's in, he runs the boards. And I immediately say, I want you to interact more. I want you to be more of a co-host producer than just a producer. And he was like, no, that's not what I signed up for. Cool. And I kept pushing that topic. He travels a lot. I travel a lot. we need a backup producer. So in case he's not in town. And a buddy of ours, Ben Nelson, covered the slot for a while, but he moves away.
Sure.
Another buddy, Justin Grubbs, our current producer, we call him Mr. G. Not because his last name is Grubbs, but because he's a ginger, my ginger. So he's our producer. And as Nick trained him to be the backup, Nick's got him trained up, and Justin's he's smart. He gets it right away. So Nick's like, fuck it, I'm going to go sit on the couch with these guys, and immediately became the co-host.
That's awesome.
And today we run a 3-man show. I actually am going to let out I'm going to let a cat out of the bag right now.
Please.
We've not announced this anywhere else.
Oh, shit.
So not even on my show. We're going to announce it on your show. We actually have a new co-host coming in. We won't say her name. I will tell you it's a her.
Very
I was
cool.
told recently I would love to hear a female perspective on the show. Not always, but somewhat regularly.
Sure.
You should have a extra host that's a woman. I said, sounds like I need somebody who's a woman only if I knew somebody who was available. And she looked at me and goes, I could do it. And I'll give the world a hint. She's been on the show before, so she is familiar with Gravity Lab Radio. And so we're about to have her in the next few episodes as the third host. And then when Nick's out of town, she'll be my backup host. So we're constantly exploring and expanding the scene. Gravity Lab Radio is about the skydivers, not about any one of us.
Which is super cool. And that's kind of one of the things that I've found in my version of this experiment with the podcast world is that there's so much to go around. Just like skydiving, there's a skydiver with us. Every skydiver's got a story. Every jumper's got some lesson that they've learned or something that they can impart or some ridiculous story that makes us laugh. And when I decided I was going to sit down and do it, it was very much of the mentality that I want the conversations that I have to be exactly as if someone comes walking up to the bonfire, sits down and starts eavesdropping on a conversation going next to them. Just skydivers shooting the shit about what we all end up talking about all the time anyway. No filters, no bullshit, and no script. Just go here, maybe an idea of what we want to talk about, but that's it. And it's worked out really, really well. And then listening to your stuff as well, the banter that skydivers get going back and forth is just infectious. It's wonderful.
The number of times Nick and I tell each other to fuck off on a given episode is entertaining.
Right?
One of my fans, he's a friend of mine as well, but what one of our fans had said online on FaceSpace, it's like I'm hanging out with my friends having a beer, but I'm not there.
Yeah.
And that to me, it's the epitome of what we're doing. That is the ultimate compliment because I bill it as an organic conversation. Just you and I, what we talked about is what time do we want to do this?
Yeah.
And my guests early on get nervous, and I'm sure you have the same problem. They're like, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to do? We're going to shoot the shit, bro.
Yep.
We're going to hang out. We're just recording our conversation. That's all we're doing.
Yep.
And it's so much more fun. And that was, again, the catalyst of Gravity Lab Radio is I think all these other companies or groups are doing a good job, but nobody quite is doing the Rogan style podcast. And I think now there's more people who are doing it. Nico runs On the Air with Nico and Babs. He hasn't done as many episodes as he wants. We started 2 days apart from each other. You also are running that similar format of let's just hang out on the air.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see more and more people running this format and using this resource.
Yeah, it was one of the things that I actually had someone ask me about when I started it out is what are you thinking, what style, what this, what that, and they had brought up who's the competition, and I kind of scratched my head at that, and I'm like, well, there isn't any competition, is there? It would be like saying that I'm having a competition with a group of skydivers on the other side of the planet. It's not the case. We're all just a bunch of skydivers shooting the shit, and there's so many fucking stories to be told, so many lessons to be learned, and so many personalities, whether big names or no names, that there is no competition, which is one of the reasons that I approached you to come on the show. There's no competition. I'm not in competition with Gravity Lab. I'm in partnership with you guys because we're all in the same fucking
Amen.
sport.
Man, it's 100%, dude. I was on Wazzy Circus Radio. Waz runs that show, and it's the same way. We're here to support and promote each other. It's Skydive Radio. Back to it. To me, they're the godfathers of skydiving podcasting. Yeah. Somebody asked me, what do I think of the impersonators? Like, fuck, back to I am an impersonator. Right. And back to Rogan style. How many times does he have somebody on the show and promote their podcast for them? there's no competition. And one of my goals one day is I would love to find PIA. To me seems like the ultimate venue for this next statement. But to find a time where we can get a large number of podcasters together. Now, this is going to be a stupid task because when you put, we've done the largest set we do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, I'm counting seats in my studio right now.
Sure.
Is 5 people mic'd.
Wow.
5 people mic'd is a dangerous conversation. It's hard to balance.
Sure.
But I would love to get Skydive Radio UK, Jump 26, the fucking pilot, the Lunatic Fringe, Gravity Lab. I would love to get all of these people in the same group and throw a mic down.
Oh my God.
And talk shit.
Oh my God.
It would be so much fun. And fortunately, I do have a traveling studio. I actually can bag everything up. This winter, man, I hope I can pull this off because it's a goal Nick and I have. This winter, we plan on going to DeLand and setting up shop at some place. We were talking to a couple manufacturers who will give us a space to use for a couple of days and interview a bunch of the greats. John LeBlanc's already agreed to do that in-person interview. So we've got a traveling setup. I just have my whole studio modular so I can take it down and put it up really, really easily.
Sure.
So I would love to see not the competition to get together, but the
just to get
group,
just to get together and play. Well, and that's another amazing thing about the sport is the true rock stars of the sport and the heroes of the sport and the people that were the trailblazers are happy to do these kind of things because they're just like us. They want to impart whatever they can to the new people coming up, to the people that are been in the sport forever, the ones that are getting a little stale and want to revitalize it all. So you talk to the biggies, Olaf being one of them, and get him to sit down and shoot the shit and tell his story. They're thrilled to do it because they're still very much a part of this community. And I mean, what do skydivers like to do more than jump and drink? Fucking talk about skydiving and talk about drinking. All right.
Right. Man, I think what we talk about here as a podcast community and the fact that we're not competitors, we're supporters is akin to what we do in skydiving, because go watch the NBA finals and you're not going to see one team telling the other team how to win.
No.
But go to nationals and 16 way, there's a point that's nicknamed Ask Jack.
Yeah.
And it's because Arizona Airspeed, the Golden Knights, will talk to Jack Burke, the team captain of DeGuayo, and say, how would you engineer this? And he is telling his competitors how to engineer it. We just had the first PD Bullseye accuracy event here in Houston, and then they just had it. They're following all around the world, actually. And in Houston, after round 1, I saw 2/3 of the competitors hanging out, and the girl who got the first place spot, or who had the best score, who crushed it, is sitting there telling her friends and people she doesn't even know, this is how I did it. Think about these conditions. Go to Swoop Nationals. We teach and promote each other how to beat ourselves.
Yeah.
We're not competitors. We're supporters.
Absolutely.
Who happen to compete.
Well, and that's
so I love the fact that you have that viewpoint too.
Well, and it needs to be that way. I mean, I had Craig Gerard sitting in the booth a while back, and at the time he was actively training the Russian team, the Belly team, to compete, of course, against the United States, the Golden Knights, Arizona Airspeed. And of course, he's laughing. I'm asking him if he's going to get shit for coaching the Russians, but his mentality is, I want them to do as good as they can because I want to see a better competition. It's not about them and us. It's let's have a fucking kick-ass competition. And it's kind of the same with something like this as well, because I'll listen to you guys or I'll listen to UK and get ideas and go, oh, wow, man, they're kind of crushing it with that. I should try something like this, and hopefully vice versa. I mean, it's supposed to go both ways, because at the end of the day, there's a fuckload of people out there to listen to this. And you guys are like me. I do one podcast a week. Well, I can burn through my hour or 2-hour podcast, and the first thing I'm thinking is, fuck, when's the next episode going to come out? But when I've got Gravity Lab to switch over to, or when I've got any other podcast, go to listen to Shannon Pilcher's podcast, who's, not so much about skydiving, but still rooted in the sport. It's super cool to be able to go, okay, I can keep on going with this interest and just get a different perspective, which is really cool.
It is, man. And back to that's, I think, why we both started it. It was not to necessarily share our perspective, but to share others, to get the opportunity to to be that outlet, that resource for people.
Exactly. I mean, fuck, I've been writing for Blue Skies Magazine for 10 years now. People have heard enough of my fucking stories. They don't need to hear any more of my stupid shit. They want to hear everybody else's stupid shit.
Absolutely, man. And the Gravity Lab has been so much fun. It's been a blast. Our friendships have built. It's not just about a podcast anymore. And Gravity Lab Radio, it took us a while to come up. I think it took us 6 or 7 episodes to really settle on that name, Gravity Lab Radio. And ultimately, I like it because it's gone beyond radio, Gravity Lab. And I played with that word a little bit more and more. And we're about to actually have our 3rd film festival. And for me, the Flyboys Film Festival back in, the whole era was an inspiration to me. I always wanted to host a film festival based off the Flyboys Film Festival. And we're about to run our 3rd one here at Spaceland Houston. We've had a dozen or so entries the last couple of years. This year, I'm expecting to push 15 to 20 because we have people coming in from out of country for this year's event. And that's been a lot of fun. And it's been really cool to see the videos they produce. But also we did karaoke fight night one year where we just had a night where we did karaoke followed by UFC fights.
Awesome.
And then the next year we did the same thing, but we added organizers. It's like, hey, man, this is a skydiving event, and we charge for none of these events. We don't charge any fees. We don't sell anything. We just host a party. That's all we're doing. And we had Jeffro Provenzano for the free flight or for the flight extravaganza is one of our co-organize or a guest. Jesse Tex Leos was one of the organizers. We had belly flying, free flying, wingsuit, XRW, all organized at the flight extravaganza. So Gravity Lab is not just a podcast. It's a mentality. It's a lifestyle. It's about skydiving.
Sure.
It's just about having fun. And it's been challenging because Gravity Lab Radio is not a skydiving specific name.
Right.
And it's been done that way on purpose. And my original goal is still there. It's still out there, is not to be 100% skydiving. We've done podcasts specifically about health and fitness. We have done podcasts focusing a little bit on CBD and CBD products, which I'm a huge advocate for CBD. We are talking to entrepreneurs, to business owners. We are looking at different things. And eventually the goal is 50%, whether it's 50% of this conversation is about skydiving and 50% of this conversation is about otherwise, or this whole episode is Venezuela. We did a full episode about the turmoil and the politics in Venezuela and what's going on in that country. And, you mentioned it earlier, and I don't know if we talked about this pre-show or on the show, but there's so many ways to go. And like Shannon Pilcher is really crossing more to the mainstream. And I love what he's doing and pushing out there to promote good ideas and good attitudes to everybody. We are focusing dominantly on skydiving, but I'm using skydiving as that platform to learn how to better host, to learn how to better produce, and to build an audience, because as we can grow that audience, I think we can grow and cross over into a larger audience as well, as we talk more about leadership, as we talk more about self-improvement, about growth, about self-awareness, and all these things. We're talking to a yogi about having an episode focusing on yoga and fitness. And of course, we'll apply it to how it fits into skydiving lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think we did talk about it pre-show. When I first started doing the podcast, my thought was it would be about all extreme sports, but I found, and maybe it's just because of the community and mentality, the fucking pilot seems to have a niche in skydiving, and that it's tough to get your average triathlete or something to want to sit down and talk to a guy that calls himself the fucking pilot. Fair enough. And I'm happy sticking with that niche. But I've also tried to go out of my way to ask people throughout the podcast what their other interests are, what their other drives are. Are there other things that they like to do? Where do they see themselves going in the future? And all my conversations, it does not have to stick to skydiving, although I like the fact that you guys are going to aim specifically outside of it as well as staying in the sport. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, for me, I have so many diverse interests in life. And I want to talk about a lot of them. And I want to learn about a lot of them. And in podcasting, it's been so great. How much I've learned from my guests has been tremendous.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's learned about them or learned from them, I've gotten such an informal education this way. And so to get people who work and specialize in something I'm interested in would be such a great opportunity for me to learn. But why be selfish about that learning and not share it with other people?
Absolutely. Well, and to be honest, and it's not always the case. We all obviously know people that have focused on nothing but skydiving for many, many years and have just as much passion for it now as they did back in the day. But I find that if you have a more diverse desire to learn different things and do different things, it keeps that passion alive for each and every one of them. Unless if you just focus on just one thing and let everything else go by the wayside, eventually I think you're risking burnout. So it's nice to hear about different passions and different interests and wanting to learn other things, because at the end of the day, we're always going to be skydivers. We're going to come back to it. But it's nice to know there's also other stuff out there.
Absolutely, man. I love those other avenues. There's just too much great information for me to not want to let people share more and more of it.
Yeah, you're damn right. So tell me, what comes next for you personally? And we already know a little bit more about what's coming up with Gravity Lab. You're going to have the new host, which is awesome. But future goals other than trying to expand, if you got other markets you're trying to go into?
Man, it's future goals right now. I think I'm in the middle of those future goals, starting the rating center. And really the rating center is my primary life. It is the large focus of what I do.
Sure.
The rating center is, I started just as me, a one-man show. I had no real goals to grow, no real goals to do anything besides just be me. And the opportunity to expand started happening. And, I early on just didn't care. So I let it be. And then as Spaceland grew, I actually had an opportunity to grow with Spaceland. And I'm like, you know what? I'll try this.
Sure.
And I initially didn't like it. I got the first taste of expansion and said, I don't want to manage other people. I don't want to deal with other lives. This is too much of a headache for me. So after that first year of expansion, I said, I'm going to take a year of truly exploring and deciding if I want expansion or not.
Right.
And that was 2017, 2008. At the end of 2017, I said, you know what? This is something I can do and I want to do. And really the goal was not business. The goal was growth of the community. If, a lot of people know Spaceland is expanding and growing, and a lot of people see it purely as a business. And there's no doubt this makes Steve Boyd a living. This makes myself a living.
Sure.
But I know Steve well enough, and I can actually speak on this because we've had this conversation. His attitude reflects my attitude. He could have one drop zone. I could have one rating center, and we could affect this community in this pocket and make safer and better skydivers. And that's wonderful. Or I can affect more.
Sure.
I love USPA. I think USPA does a great job. I think the way we're growing as a governing body, I think the way that we're growing as examiners is getting better and better, and those improvements will continue to come. But it's hard to grow. It's hard to grow standardization. It's hard to improve that quality on such a large scale quickly.
Sure.
So they're doing it wisely. But on a small scale like mine, I can immediately implement changes. I can immediately mandate things of my examiners. We have 6 going on 7 examiners, somewhere around that number.
Sure.
And it's easy for me to say with 7 examiners versus hundreds, this is the bottom line.
Right.
So for me, expanding has been about now I can affect a larger area. Now I can affect skydivers all over the place. So what's next? Well, 2018 was how do I grow? And 2019 is the start of that real growth.
Wow.
We are running more courses this year than I've ever run. There's been multiple days where we're running 2 to 3 courses at a given time, coaching going on at the same time in one location, not in multiple, just at one.
Wow.
And then, of course, other locations. We're based out of Houston, but we also have a campus in San Marcos, Texas, and a campus in Dallas, Texas. And we're looking at a 4th. Yes, we partner with Spaceland, but I'm also talking to other people. I actually have I'd say a fairly large name examiner who him and I are talking about merging together and growing our ability to affect the sport.
Very cool.
So what's next, man? Continuing to expand our influence is really what's next for the Rating Center. For Gravity Lab Radio, keep doing what we're doing.
Awesome. Just keep shooting the shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's Nick and I have said if we stop having fun, we'll stop doing the show, and we still have fun. Yes, there's days we don't. We actually have shown up to the show going like, "You ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go." We've had guests where we haven't been as excited about the guests, but it's what people wanted. People say if you do what you love for a living, you'll never work a day in your life. That person's never done what they love for a living.
Right.
Some days it's work, but goddamn, it's the best work ever.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's the big thing is I've absolutely worked my ass off in doing what I love for a living, but it's a labor of love. So you're very happy to put in the work. Very, very happy. Well, that's
100%.
Man, it's awesome, and it's really cool to get you on the show as well. Because again, I when I first decided I was going to give this a shot, I went out of my way to listen to a number of the different podcasts that were out there. Yours being predominantly one of them, and it's cool to hear how you're still going, still enjoying it, and I'm still going to keep taking tips off of you and take all the ideas I can get.
Man, steal everything you can. If you're not stealing, you ain't trying. Right. I will say I don't listen to other podcasts nearly as much, and it's so funny because people say, well, you'll learn so much from them, and that's the thing is I don't. I want ours to organically grow naturally. I want to see what our child becomes without any outside influences.
Sure. Absolutely.
Now I think we're finally to a point where we've developed, and now I don't think other things will affect us as much. Where early on it would.
Sure.
And I look forward to. I've actually been waiting to listen to your show, but I didn't want to listen to your show until I actually was on it.
Cool.
I won't listen to my own. I don't listen to Gravity Lab Radio. I experienced that podcast. Yeah, I'm not going to listen.
I don't listen to my own either. I post-produce and then I don't ever listen to it again.
Exactly, man. It's the same thing. But I didn't want to hear how you talk. I didn't want to know anything about how you host a show.
It's cool.
Because I didn't want to try to fit a mold or a model. I wanted you and I just to be what we are.
Well, and that's kind of the thing too that I've told all my guests that that want some kind of direction. I'm like, no direction. And of course, you'll get the ones that are a little nervous at the start, but by the end of it, you tell them, well, that was an hour and a half. What? We just talked for because we're just shooting the shit, man. This is fucking bonfire. Whether it's in person, whether it's in person or on Skype, man. Pour yourself a drink, sit back, and let's shoot the shit. That's it. Whether it gets serious or it's playful, whether you're telling fart stories or a horrible story, about somebody that got hurt, let it go where it goes, and have fun with it. And at the end of the day, that's usually how it goes. They start out nervous and end up going, fuck, that was it, which is awesome.
Man, I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit more of our story with Gravity Lab Radio with the Rating Center.
Yeah, man. I definitely want the background. I'm thrilled to hear about it. I'm glad that we had the opportunity to sit down and get a talk. And I am really going to look forward to the day that you get all the podcasters in one room, because holy shit.
Man, I think everybody would do it, man.
Sure,
It's
especially if there's an open bar.
Right, and I'm not going to have an open bar. I can't afford an open bar for skydivers. I've heard on other podcasts actually promote ours as well. I've heard podcasts that I've not even been on talk about us. Sure. And some of them say I'm not their style, and I respect and I love that. And the cool part is yet they still promoted me. Like, hey, the Gravity Lab Radio, they're not my style. I just don't like the way they speak, the way they talk. That non-PC version, I think, is what got those folks. Sure. And I respect that, but yet they still promoted our show. And that's what I love about it. We're not competitors, we're supporters. Yeah. And I think all those people, if we can get us all in, or as many as we can in one room, how fun would that be?
Oh, it'd be a fucking blast.
I just don't know how crazy that man, it's going to be hard.
It's either going to get really crazy, or we'll all just sit there staring at each other. And I don't think that's going to happen.
No, because we all talk a lot.
Right.
That's why we all have podcasts.
Yeah, that's the one thing we have in common. But that's also why I don't listen to my own podcast, because I talk too fucking much and I've already heard all my stories.
Right. I've heard this before. I don't need to hear it again. I've heard my stories enough that I forgot how to tell them.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm right there with you. Well, DJ, it's been a fucking blast, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and talk with me, and hopefully we get the chance to do it again.
Man, I want to throw out real quick to the people listening. Number one, theratingscenter.com. If you have a ratings need, if you're looking for an examiner, we're based out of the Texas area, but we do travel. Hit us up. We can help you out. Gravity Lab Radio. Search us on any podcast app. We're out there. We're available. Tell your friends about us. But I really want to take a second because we didn't talk about LB Live.
Please tell me.
Larson and Bruce Guard approached me. They liked what we do with Gravity Lab, so they asked me to host interviews with athletes, and we feature a athlete every month. It's about a 30-minute Skype interview. It's face-to-face or Skype-to-Skype face.
Gotcha.
And we produce a lot of video with it. And please, guys, look at Larson and Bruce Guard's Facebook page. Check it out. We host LB Live on their Facebook once a month. Every 3 months, we give away a complete awareness package. Right now, that's a free Aries 2 and a free Pro Track 2. That's a total of $750 worth of products right there that you're going to get.
That's awesome.
Our sponsors in skydiving do so much to support us with gear, and we do so much to promote them as personalities. And with Larson and Bruce Guard, with LB Altimeters, we wanted to actually promote the athlete because it's common they promote us, but as a rep for LB Altimeters, I can say we wanted to promote the athlete.
Sure.
So it's our opportunity to give back as LB Altimeters. It's our opportunity to let you know more about the athlete. So check out LB Live. You can search for LB Live on Facebook. It's a lot of fun. And who knows, maybe we will turn it into an audio podcast and make it available out there as well.
Oh, that'd be super cool. That would be really cool. So LB Live, Gravity Lab, and the Rating Center are 3 things everybody absolutely needs to check out.
Absolutely, man. And as I say, I stay a little too busy. I will tell you, maybe, just maybe, if you're looking for a MARD for an infinity rig, we are almost done with certification jumps for the FAA for that.
Nice.
So when I say I stay busy, I stay busy. We're doing those test jumps too. And gotta love Velocity Sports Equipment. I don't think a MARD is necessary, but I do think it's nice. I do think it's a great option, and Infinity is pushing that out soon too. Mr. P, my co-host Nick Lott, and I are finishing those test jumps hopefully beginning of August.
Wow.
We both are just crazy busy in July.
Yeah, well, crazy busy, period. I mean, goddamn.
Dude, if you ain't busy, how do you die? You sit still.
Yeah, no, I am not going to let boredom get me. That's for damn sure.
Hell yeah, bud. Dean, thank you so much for the opportunity, brother. I look forward to the next time you're in Houston. Be on the show, hang out, and let's shoot some more shit.
Perfect. DJ, thank you so much, man. Have a great one.
You too, buddy.
Bye. Well, there you have it. Another episode of the Lunatic Fringe podcast, brought to you as always by, well, wait, not as always, actually. Brought to you now by Gyro. Formerly known as NZ Aerosports, you'll head to gyro.com for their next level line of canopies. By Pussfoot, the Extreme Sports Collective. Head over to pussfoot.com to check it out. By Summit Parachute Systems, check out summitparachutesystems.com to talk to Jarrett Martin and the gang about kick-ass pilot rigs, rigging courses, and more. By Flyaway Indoor Skydiving, go to flyawaytn.com and check out all the cutting-edge stuff to come. By Pure Spectrum CBD, head to purespectrumcbd.com to check out their wide range of CBD products. And as for us, head to the lunaticfringepodcast.com to listen to any of the hundreds of episodes currently available, hit the link for our YouTube channel, pick up your copy of the Lunatic Fringe book or The Accidental Stripper, and get a sneak peek at upcoming guests. Once again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.